Hello, welcome to our channel Learn to Score. In this video, we discuss quadratic equations chapter. The topics covered are the following: Introduction to quadratic equations, solution of quadratic equations by factorization method, that is also called split the middle term method, solution of quadratic equations by completing square method, quadratic formula, and nature of roots of quadratic equations. Please subscribe to our channel for regular updates. If you like the video, please give it a like and also share with your friends. Thank you. In the topic on polynomials, we learned that polynomials of degree 2 are called quadratic polynomials, right? F of x equal to x square minus 3x minus 4, p of x equal to 2x square plus x plus 5, and k of x equal to x square minus 9 are quadratic polynomials, right? F of x equal to ax square plus bx plus c is the generic expression for quadratic polynomials, right? Where the coefficients a, b, and c are the real numbers. Please take a note of this. If we equate ax square plus bx plus c to 0, then it is called a quadratic equation. It means ax square plus bx plus c equal to 0 is the generic form for quadratic equations. Please take a note of this. So that x square minus 3x minus 4 equal to 0, 2x square plus x plus 5 equal to 0, and x square minus 9 equal to 0 are quadratic equations. If f of x is a quadratic polynomial, then f of x equal to 0 is a quadratic equation. Please take a note of this point. Let's now take a look at few examples of quadratic equations. In several real-world situations, we come across quadratic equations. For example, sports committee of your school wants to construct a coco court of dimension 29 meters by 16 meters as shown here. The thing is, this coco court has to be in a rectangular enclosure of 558 meters square. That is the mandate given by the management. Another requirement is they want to leave space of equal width all around the court for spectators. It means they want to keep certain distance, certain space equally spread around the coco court. Now the question is, what would be the width of the space for spectators? It means we have to know what is the value of x shown here. When you see the area of enclosure is 558 meters square, that is a rectangular enclosure, its length is now become 29 plus 2x and its width is going to be 16 plus 2x, right? And the statement given is area of enclosure is 558 meters square. It means we know area of length, area of rectangle is defined as length times width. It means enclosure area is going to be 29 plus 2x times 16 plus 2x, right? So let's write it as an equation. 29 plus 2x times 16 times 2x equal to 558. When you rearrange, this can be written as 4x square plus 90x plus 464 equal to 558. Simplify it such that you get 4x square plus 90x minus 94 equal to 0. You can take 2 as the common factor out so that it can be written as 2x square plus 45x minus 47 equal to 0. This is a quadratic equation. Please take a note of this. When you solve this particular equation, you will get value of x. That is what is the width or the space of equal width all around the court for the spectators, right? Let's take a look at another example. Raju and Rajender together have 45 marbles. Both of them lost 5 marbles each. And the product of the number of marbles now they have is 124. We would like to find out how many marbles they had previously. If you have such a scenario, quadratic equations come in handy. We can express this as a quadratic equation. Let's see how it is done. Let's assume that Raju had x marbles. This was initially he had x marbles, okay? And the total marbles they had is 45, both of them together, right? So that Rajendra had 45 minus x marbles, because Raju had x marbles, Rajendra had 45 minus x marbles. And the statement given is saying that both of them lost 5 marbles each. It means Raju will have now x minus 5 marbles, whereas Rajendra will have 45 minus x, that is his original marbles count, minus 5 marbles. So that he'll have 45 minus x minus 5 marbles. That can be written as 40 minus x marbles, right? Rajendra now have 40 minus x marbles, whereas Raju has x minus 5 marbles. Now, the statement said that product of number of marbles they have now is 124. It means x minus 5 times 40 minus x equal to 124, right? You multiply this such that you get 40x minus x square minus 200 equal to 124. When you simplify it, you get minus x square plus 40x minus 324 equal to 0, right? Simply multiply with minus 1 the whole equation. Then you can write it as x square minus 40x plus 324 equal to 0, right? This is a quadratic equation. If you know to solve how to this particular equation, then you know how many marbles they had, how many marbles Raju had earlier. Then you subtract that from 45 so that you will know how many marbles Rajendra had earlier, right? Let's take a look at this. We want to see whether given equation is a quadratic equation or not. Let me write LHS of the given equation, that is x minus 2 whole square plus 1. X minus 2 whole square can be expanded using a minus b whole square formula, right? When you do that, you get x square minus 4x plus 4 and add plus 1 to that, so that this equation becomes x square minus 4x plus 5. LHS of the given equation is x square minus 4x plus 5, right? And RHS is given, that is 2x minus 3. Let's equate these two so that you get x square minus 4x plus 5 equal to 2x minus 3. When you rearrange and simplify, you get x square minus 6x plus 8 equal to 0. And it is matching with generic form of quadratic equation, that is ax square plus bx plus c equal to 0, right? Hence we can say that the given equation x minus 2 whole square plus 1 equal to 2x minus 3 is a quadratic equation. Please take a note of this. The next question we had is check whether x minus 2 times x plus 1 equal to x minus 1 times x plus 3 is a quadratic equation or not. Let's take left hand side terms and multiply them such that you get x square minus x minus 2 as the LHS. Let's take right hand side terms and multiply them and rearrange such that you get x square plus 2x minus 3 as the RHS. Let's equate these two and simplify such that you get minus 3x plus 1 equal to 0. If you compare this equation with ax square plus bx plus c equal to 0, you can say that the quadratic term or the x square term is not there, right? Hence we say that the given equation x minus 2 times x plus 1 equal to x minus 1 times x plus 3 is not a quadratic equation. Please take a note of this. Let's see this. Product of two consecutive positive integers is 306. We can represent this in the form of quadratic equation. Let's see how it is done. If I assume that x and x plus 1 are those consecutive positive integers, if I say x is one of the positive integers, then x plus 1 is going to be its consecutive positive integer, right? And as per the problem statement, their product is equal to 306. Let's write x times x plus 1 equal to 306. When you multiply and simplify it, you get x square plus x minus 306 equal to 0, right? It is matching with quadratic equation. Hence we can say that it is a quadratic equation, right? And when you solve this particular equation, you know what are the positive integers, consecutive positive integers. Their product is leading to 306. Let's take a look at another real world scenario. Rohan's mother is 26 years older than him. Product of their ages in years, 3 years from now will be 360. We need to find Rohan's present age. To do that, let's represent it as a quadratic equation. To do that, what we do is, let's assume that present age of Rohan is x years. It means the present age of his mother is x plus 26 years, right? Let's see what is Rohan's age after 3 years. That is x plus 3 years, right? And his mother's age after 3 years will be x plus 26 plus 3, that is equal to x plus 29 years, right? The statement says that the product of their ages 3 years from now will be 360. It means the product of these two, x plus 3 times x plus 29 is equal to 360. Let's write that. When you multiply the LHS and simplify the equation, you get x square plus 32x minus 273 equal to 0. When you solve this equation, when you solve this quadratic equation, you will know what is the age of Rohan and his mother, right? Till now we have seen real world examples of quadratic equations, right? Now let's try to solve those equations using factorization method. Let's quickly recall what we learned about quadratic equations. Algebraic equations in the generic form ax square plus bx plus c equal to 0 are called quadratic equations, where coefficients a, b, c and are real numbers and a is not equal to 0. If a equal to 0, then this equation becomes a linear equation. Please take a note of that. And we also said that f of x is a quadratic polynomial, then f of x equal to 0 is going to be a quadratic equation, right? It means that zeros of f of x are going to be equal to roots of f of x equal to 0. Please take a note of this. Let's say that if a real number beta satisfies the equation ax square plus bx plus c equal to 0, then beta is a root of the given equation. When you say it satisfies, it means that when you substitute beta into the given equation for x, it exactly matches. A beta square plus b beta plus c equal to 0. And we learned from the polynomials topic that quadratic polynomials can have at most 2 zeros, right? It essentially means that quadratic equations can have at most 2 roots. Please take a note of this. Now let's learn to find roots of those roots of quadratic equations. Let's learn to find roots of quadratic equations by factorization method. Now, factors of ax square plus bx plus c equal to 0 can be obtained by finding two numbers p and q such that p plus q equal to b and p times q equal to a times c. Please take a note of this. Let's now find roots of x square minus 2x minus 8 equal to 0. As per the previous statement, now we have to find two numbers p and q such that their sum, that is p plus q equal to minus 2 and p times q equal to 1 times minus 8, that is equal to minus 8, right? It means we have to find factors of minus 8 first. Minus 8 can be written as 1 times minus 8. Their sum is minus 7, whereas we require it to be minus 2, so it is not matching our requirement. Minus 8 can also be written as minus 1 times 8, and their sum is 7. It is also not meeting our requirement. Minus 8 can be written as minus 2 times 4, and their sum is 2. Minus 8 can also be written as 2 times minus 4. Their sum is minus 2. It meets our requirement, right? So now let's say that p equal to 2 and q equal to minus 4. Now what we do is, we write x square minus 2x minus 8 as x square plus 2x minus 4x minus 8. If you observe, the middle term that is minus 2x in the given equation is split into plus 2x minus 4x, right? That is the reason this method also called splitting the middle term method. Please take a note of this. If you take x as the common factor from first two terms and minus 4 as the common factor from last two terms, then it can be written as x times x plus 2 minus 4 times x plus 2, right? Now you can take x plus 2 as the common factor such that it can be written as x plus 2 times x minus 4, right? These two, x plus 2 and x minus 4, are called linear factors of x square minus 2x minus 8. X plus 2 is a linear polynomial, right? That's why these factors are called linear factors. Please take a note of this. Now let's go back to the original equation, that is x square minus 2x minus 8 equal to 0. That can be written now as x plus 2 times x minus 4 equal to 0, right? This equation holds true when x plus 2 equal to 0 and or x minus 4 equal to 0, right? If you say that x plus 2 equal to 0, then x becomes minus 2. If x minus 4 equal to 0, then x becomes 4, right? So what we can say now is minus 2 and 4 are the roots of x square minus 2x minus 8 equal to 0. Please take a note of this. Let's take a look at another example. Find roots of 2x square minus 5x plus 3 equal to 0. To solve this problem, we have to find two numbers p and q such that their sum p plus q equal to minus 5 and their product pq equal to 2 times 3, that is equal to 6, right? It means we have to get factors of 6. 6 can be written as 1 times 6. Their sum is 7. That's not meeting our requirement of minus 5. 6 can be written as minus 1 times minus 6. Their sum is minus 7. That is not also meeting our requirement. 6 can be written as 2 times 3. Their sum is 5. Whereas we require it to be minus 5. So now 6 can be written as minus 2 times minus 3. Their sum is minus 5. It meets our requirement. Hence we say that p equal to minus 2 and q equal to minus 3, right? Now let's split the middle term minus 5x such that it can be written as minus 2x minus 3x. So the whole of the left hand side term becomes x square minus 2x minus 3x plus 3. You can take 2x as the common factor from first two terms and minus 3 as the common factor from last two terms, right? When you do that, you get an expression like this. When you observe this expression, you say that x minus 1 can be taken as a common factor out. When you do that, it can be written as 2x minus 3 times x minus 1, right? These are the linear factors of 2x square minus 5x plus 3, right? Let's go back to the original equation, that is 2x square minus 5x plus 3 equal to 0. That can be written as 2x minus 3 times x minus 1 equal to 0, right? This equation holds true when 2x minus 3 equal to 0 or x minus 1 equal to 0, right? If 2x minus 3 equal to 0, then you have x equal to 3 by 2. When x minus 1 equal to 0, you have x equal to 1, right? 1 and 3 by 2 are the roots of 2x square minus 5x plus 3 equal to 0. Let's verify that. Verification means what you do. You will substitute these values onto the left hand side term of the given equation and see whether you're getting a RHS that is equal to 0 as the answer or not. If it does, then you say that the equations, this particular number is satisfying the equation, right? Let's do that now. When x equal to 1, 2x square minus 5x plus 3 can be written as 2 times 1 square minus 5 times 1 plus 3. When you simplify it, you get answer as 0. It means that x equal to 1 is satisfying 2x square minus 5x plus 3 equal to 0, right? Similarly, when you do that for x equal to 3 by 2, the answer you get is 0. It means x equal to 3 by 2 also satisfies 2x square minus 5x plus 3 equal to 0, right? So that we can say that 1 and 3 by 2 are the roots of 2x square minus 5x plus 3 equal to 0. You can say that the roots are verified. Let us solve few exercise problems now. Problem 1. Find two consecutive positive integers, sum of whose squares is 613. Let's assume that x and x plus 1 are those numbers. Since sum of their squares is 613, it can be written as x square plus x plus 1 whole square equal to 613, right? This can be expanded and rearranged such that you write it as 2x square plus 2x minus 612 equal to 0. You can take 2 as the common factor out of this equation. It means it becomes x square plus x minus 306 equal to 0, right? Now we have to solve this equation to find the positive integers. We use method of splitting the middle term that suggests we have to find two numbers p and q such that p plus q equal to quotient of x and pq equal to product of remaining quotients, right? It essentially means that we have to find p and q such that p plus q equal to 1 and pq equal to minus 306, right? Let's do that. To do that, let's first find factors of 306. Since 306 is a big number, I'm going to make use of prime factorization method. 306 can be written as 2 times 153. 153 can be written as 3 times 51. 51 can be written as 3 times 17. So 17 is a prime number, so we stop there and write 306 as 2 times 3 times 3 times 17, right? If you group them, then 306 can be written as 18 times 17, right? So minus 306 can be written as 18 times minus 17, and their sum is 1. So it meets our requirement of sum has to be 1 and product has to be minus 306, right? So now we can expand the middle term or split the middle term, that is x, as 18x minus 17x, right? When you take x as the common factor out of the first two terms in the given equation and minus 17 as the common factor from last two terms, then you write this equation as x times x plus 18 minus 17 times x plus 18. You can take x plus 18 as the common factor here, so that x square plus x minus 306 can be now written as x plus 18 times x minus 17, right? These are the two linear factors of x square plus x minus 306. Now let's go back to the original equation, that is x square plus x minus 306 equal to 0 now can be written as x plus 18 times x minus 17 equal to 0, right? This equation holds true when x plus 18 is equal to 0 and x minus 17 equal to 0, right? When x plus 18 equal to 0, you have x equal to minus 18. When x minus 17 equal to 0, you have x equal to 17, right? So minus 18 and 17 are the roots of x square plus x minus 306 equal to 0. Let's take a note of that. Here we are looking for positive integers. That's why minus 18 can be omitted and you can take 17 as the positive integer we are looking for. If x equal to 17, then x plus 1 equal to 18, right? Let's try to verify this, whether these two positive integers, sum of their squares is going to be 613 or not. X square plus x plus 1 whole square now can be written as 17 square plus 18 square. When you simplify it, you get answer 613. That is exactly meeting our requirement, right? Hence, we can say that 17 and 18 are the numbers, are the consecutive positive integers, and their sum of their squares is 613. Please take a note of this. Let's go to another problem, that is problem 2. Altitude of a right triangle is 7 centimeters less than its base. If hypotenuse is 13 centimeters, find other two sides. Altitude is 7 centimeters less than its base is given, right? So let's assume that length of base is x centimeters. Then automatically altitude is going to be x minus 7 centimeters and hypotenuse is given, that is 13 centimeters, right? When you plot all this, you get a right triangle like this, right? We know Pythagoras theorem that relates hypotenuse and other two sides, right? Pythagoras theorem is stated as hypotenuse square equal to base square plus altitude square for this particular case, right? It means 13 square equal to x square plus x minus 7 whole square. When you expand this and simplify, what you get is x square minus 7x minus 60 equal to 0 as the quadratic equation. It means we have to solve x square minus 7x minus 60 equal to 0 to find the base and altitude of the given right triangle. To do that, let's find factors of 60 first. I'm using again prime factorization method. 60 can be now written as 2 times 30. 30 can be written as 2 times 15. And 15 can be written as 3 times 5, right? So 60 now can be written as 2 times 2 times 3 times 5. Let's group them such that 60 can be written as 12 times 5, right? It means minus 60 equal to 5 times minus 12, and their sum is minus 7. It is meeting our requirements, right? That's why we write x square minus 7x minus 60 as x square plus 5x minus 12x minus 60, right? You can take x as the common factor from first two terms and minus 12 as the common factor from last two terms, so that it can be written as x times x plus 5 minus 12 times x plus 5. From this equation, you can write x, you can take x plus 5 as the common factor out, so that it can be written as x plus 5 times x minus 12. These are the two linear factors of x square minus 7x minus 60, right? Let's now go to the original equation, that is x square minus 7x minus 60 equal to 0. That can now be written as x plus 5 times x minus 12 equal to 0, right? This equation holds true when x plus 5 equal to 0 and x minus 12 equal to 0. If x plus 5 equal to 0, then you have x equal to minus 5. When x minus 12 equal to 0, you have x equal to 12, right? So minus 5 and 12 are the roots of x square minus 7x minus 60 equal to 0. Let's take a note of this. Out of the two roots, you cannot take minus 5 as value of x, because length of base length of a right triangle cannot be a negative number. So we have to take 12 as x. So length of base equal to 12 centimeters. It means altitude is going to be 12 minus 7, that is equal to 5 centimeters. This is what we are asked to find, right? Let's now learn about solution of a quadratic equation using completing square method. Prior to that, let's try this particular problem with method of splitting the middle term or the factorization method. Find roots of x square plus 5x plus 3 equal to 0 using factorization method. We know that we have to find p and q, two numbers, such that p plus q is equal to 5 and pq equal to 3, right? We know that factors of 3 are just 3 and 1, right? So when you sum them, you get 4. So whatever you do, you don't get p plus q equal to 5. It means no integer factors of 3 satisfy the requirement of p plus q equal to 5. Does it mean that there are no roots for this particular equation? Certainly not. When you take a look at the figure for this particular equation, the curve is cutting through x-axis at 2 points, right? Those 2 points say that there exist two roots for the given equation, x square plus 5x plus 3 equal to 0, right? If you observe the graph, you can say that one root is lying between 0 and 1, 0 and minus 1, and another root is lying between minus 5 and minus 4, right? Please take a note of this. Now the question is, can completing square method be of help to solve this kind of problems? Let's understand that now. Let's quickly take a look at basic idea of completing square method. X square minus 9 equal to 0 is a quadratic equation, right? The degree of the equation is 2. That's why it is a quadratic equation. You don't have x term, but otherwise it's a quadratic equation, right? This can be written as x square equal to 9. It means x equal to root 9. That can be written as x equal to plus or minus 3, right? So now we can say that x equal to 3 and x equal to minus 3 are the roots of the given equation, that is x square minus 9 equal to 0, right? Keeping this particular problem in mind, if I consider x plus 2 whole square minus 9 equal to 0, then this can be written as x plus 2 whole square equal to 9. It means x plus 2 equal to plus or minus 3, right? When you simplify, you get x equal to 1 as one of the options and x equal to minus 5 as the other option, right? So now we can say that x equal to 1 and x equal to minus 5 are the roots of the given equation x plus 2 whole square minus 9 equal to 0, right? Instead of following this approach, for example, if I expand x plus 2 whole square minus 9 equal to 0, then I get x square plus 4x minus 5 equal to 0 as the quadratic equation, right? And if you apply split the middle term method, you are going to split the middle term 4x as 5x minus 1x. When you do that and find linear factors, you can write the given equation as x plus 5 times x minus 1 equal to 0. So the roots are going to be minus 5 and 1, right? The roots are exactly identical to the roots we have gotten earlier. Now if you observe, the basic idea of completing square method is about expressing the given equation x square plus 4x minus 5 equal to 0 as x plus 2 whole square minus 9 equal to 0, so that you can get roots in a different way, right? In other words, I can say that basic idea is adjust the LHS terms of quadratic equation as a complete square. In this particular case, x plus 2 whole square is a complete square, right? Whatever terms containing x, you express them as complete square. Please take a note of that. Now let's learn about completing square method by attempting one problem, that is 2x square plus 8x plus 6 equal to 0. Let's find roots of that equation using completing square method. Let's first divide each term of the equation with 2 so that the quotient of x becomes 1. You try to get quotient of x equal to 1 in most of the problems. When you do that, you get the quadratic equation as x square plus 4x plus 3 equal to 0, right? We know that a plus b whole square equal to a square plus 2ab plus b square, right? I can write a square plus 2ab as a plus b whole square minus b square, right? Now what I do is I try to compare x square plus 4x with a square plus 2ab. To do that, let me first write 4x as 2 times x times 2. So x square plus 4x becomes now x square plus 2 times x times 2, right? Now you compare this with a square plus 2ab. When you do that, you can say that a equal to x and b equal to 2, right? Now we can write x square plus 4x as x plus 2 whole square minus 2 square, right? Let's take a note of this. Now the whole equation x square plus 4x plus 3 can be written as x plus 2 whole square minus 4 plus 3 equal to 0. When you simplify it, you get x plus 2 whole square equal to 1, right? It means x plus 2 equal to square root of 1. That can be written as x plus 2 equal to plus or minus 1, right? So now you rearrange this particular equation so that you can write it as x equal to minus 2 plus or minus 1. It means x equal to minus 1 is one option, and other option is x equal to minus 3, right? Now I can say that minus 3 and minus 1 are roots of 2x square plus 8x plus 6 equal to 0. Please take a note of this method. Now let's go to the original problem where the factorization method couldn't solve. Let's find roots of x square plus 5x plus 3 equal to 0 using completing square method now. As I said earlier, let's rearrange the equation such that it can be written as x square plus 5x equal to minus 3. And recall the formula of a plus b whole square that can be written as a square plus 2ab plus b square, right? Rearrange this such that it can be written as a square plus 2ab equal to a plus b whole square minus b square, right? Let's compare x square plus 5x with a square plus 2ab now. Prior to doing that, let me write 5x as 2 times x times 5 by 2. Okay, now compare. When you compare, you can say that a equal to x and b equal to 5 by 2, right? It means x square plus 5x can be written as x plus 5 by 2 whole square minus 5 by 2 whole square, right? Let's take a note of this and substitute into the original equation, that is x square plus 5x plus 3 equal to 0. When you do that, you get x plus 5 by 2 whole square minus 5 by 2 whole square is 25 by 4 now, plus 3 equal to 0, right? You simplify it such that it can be written as x plus 5 by 2 whole square equal to 13 by 4. It can be rearranged and written as x plus 5 by 2 equal to plus or minus square root of 13 by 4 or plus or minus square root of 13 divided by 2, right? You rearrange and write it as x equal to square root of 13 minus 5 by 2 as one of the options, and x equal to minus root 13 minus 5 divided by 2 as the second option. So now I can say that square root of 13 minus 5 divided by 2 and minus of square root of 13 plus 5 divided by 2 are the roots of x square plus 5x plus 3 equal to 0. You see, when we solved, we could get the real roots, right? Our real numbers as roots. Whereas splitting the middle term method couldn't do it because we were looking at integer factors there. Here the roots are not integers, these are real numbers. Please take a note of that. Now, if you substitute root 13 equal to 3.6056, so the first root is going to be minus 0.6972 and the second root is going to be minus 4.3028, right? You may recall the figure. In that figure, we have seen that one of the roots is lying between 0 and minus 1, that is minus 0.6972, and the another root is lying between minus 5 and minus 4, right? That is minus 4.3028. What I can say now is completing square method is enabling us to find roots that are real numbers, not just integers. Please take a note of this. Let us solve few example problems from textbook now. Find roots of 3x square minus 5x plus 2 equal to 0 using completing square method. 3x square minus 5x plus 2 equal to 0 can be written as x square minus 5 by 3x plus 2 by 3 equal to 0, right? Now I'm using a minus b whole square formula because we have minus 5 by 3x. That's why I chose to use a minus b whole square formula, that is written as a square minus 2ab plus b square, right? You rearrange this equation such that you can write a square minus 2ab equal to a minus b whole square minus b square. Now let's compare x square minus 5 by 3x with a square minus 2ab. Prior to doing that, let me expand 5 by 3x as 2 times x times 5 by 6. Now you compare the expression with a square minus 2ab. When you do that, you can say that a equal to x and b equal to 5 by 6, right? It means x square minus 5 by 3x can be written as x minus 5 by 6 whole square minus 5 by 6 whole square, right? Let's take a note of that and substitute that into the original equation, x square minus 5 by 3x plus 2 by 3 equal to 0. When you do that and simplify, you get x minus 5 by 6 whole square equal to 25 by 36 minus 2 by 3, right? You further simplify it such that you get it as x minus 5 by 6 whole square equal to 1 by 36. It means x minus 5 by 6 equal to square root of 1 by 36. That can be written as plus or minus 1 by 6, right? Now, x is going to be 5 plus or minus 1 divided by 6. If I choose plus 1, then it is going to be 5 plus 1 by 6, that is equal to 1, right? X equal to 1. If I choose minus 1, then it is going to be 5 minus 1 divided by 6, that is equal to 2 by 3. So now we can say that 1 and 2 by 3 are the roots of 3x square minus 5x plus 2 equal to 0, right? Let's take a look at another example problem. Find roots of 4x square plus 3x plus 5 equal to 0 using completing square method. Let's rearrange such that you get quotient of x square as 1, such that the equation you have now in hand is x square plus 3 by 4 times x plus 5 by 4 equal to 0, right? Since the sign before x is plus, I go with a plus b whole square formula, that is a plus b whole square equal to a square plus 2ab plus b square. Rearrange that as a square plus 2ab equal to a plus b whole square minus b square, right? Let's now compare x square plus 3 by 4x with a square plus 2ab. Prior to doing that, let me rearrange 3 by 4x as 2 times x times 3 by 8, so that you can compare and say that a equal to x and b equal to 3 by 8, right? It means x square plus 3 by 4x can be now written as x plus 3 by 8 whole square minus 3 by 8 whole square, right? Let's take a note of that and substitute this into the original equation, that is x square plus 3 by 4 times x plus 5 by 4 equal to 0. When you do that and simplify, you get x plus 3 by 8 whole square equal to minus 71 divided by 64. You observe here, x plus 3 by 8 now can be written as square root of minus 71 by 64. We know that square root of a negative number is not a real number, right? Hence, we can say that no real value of x is going to satisfy the equation. Means we have no real roots for this particular equation. 4x square plus 3x plus 5 equal to 0 has no real roots. That is the answer. The roots are going to be imaginary roots and the numbers are called complex numbers. You may study them in your plus 2. Please take a note of this. Let's learn about quadratic formula now. Find roots of ax square plus bx plus c equal to 0 using completing square method. To do that, we have to get quotient of x square as 1, right? It means we have to divide each term of the equation with a. You do that so that you get equation now x square plus b by a times x plus c by a equal to 0, right? You may recall the formula p plus q whole square can be written as p square plus 2pq plus q square. Earlier we were using a plus b whole square. But here, even in the coefficients of the given equation, we have ABC. That's why I chose to use P and Q as the variables here. P plus Q whole square is P square plus 2PQ plus Q square, right? Rearrange it such that you can write it as P square plus 2PQ equal to P plus Q whole square minus Q square. Now let's compare x square plus B by A times X with P square plus 2PQ. Prior to doing that, you expand b by a times x as 2 times x times b by 2a and compare, so that you can say p equal to x and q equal to b by 2a, right? So now x square plus b by a times x can be written as x plus b by 2a whole square minus b by 2a whole square, right? Let's take a note of that and substitute that into the original equation, that is x square plus b by a times x plus c by a equal to 0. When you substitute and simplify it, you get x plus b by 2a equal to square root of b square minus 4ac divided by square root of 4a square. You further simplify this such that you get x plus b by 2a equal to plus or minus square root of b square minus 4ac divided by 2a, right? Let's take a note of that. You can further rearrange this equation and write it as x equal to minus b by 2a plus or minus square root of b square minus 4ac divided by 2a. I'm going to rearrange further because denominators you have for 2a only. That's why we write it as x equal to minus b plus or minus square root of b square minus 4ac divided by 2a, right? This is called quadratic formula. Please take a note of this. When you are given a quadratic equation ax square plus bx plus c equal to 0, you can find roots of the equation using this formula x equal to minus b plus or minus square root of b square minus 4ac divided by 2a. That is called quadratic formula. Now let's take a look at an application problem of quadratic formula. Find roots of 2x square plus 45x minus 47 equal to 0 using quadratic formula. You may recall that this particular equation we got when we solved the Cocoa code problem. That was the first example I gave in this video, right? You go back and check, you have the same equation. Now, I want to solve this using quadratic formula. For ax square plus bx plus c equal to 0, the quadratic formula defines the roots as x equal to minus b plus or minus square root of b square minus 4ac divided by 2a, right? Now let's compare the given equation 2x square plus 45x minus 47 equal to 0 with ax square plus bx plus c equal to 0, such that I can say a equal to 2, b equal to 45 and c equal to minus 47, right? Let's substitute them into the quadratic formula and simplify it such that you get x equal to minus 45 plus or minus 49 divided by 4, right? If I take plus 49, then it becomes x equal to 4 by 4, that is equal to 1. This is one of the roots. And if I take minus 49, then it becomes x equal to minus 94 divided by 4, that is equal to minus 23.5, right? This is another root. Now you can say that 1 and minus 23.5 are the roots of 2x square plus 45x minus 47 equal to 0, right? But when it comes to space, width of the space to be left for spectators, it cannot be a negative number, right? That's why we say that x equal to 1 meter is the width of space around the court for spectators. Please take a note of this. Let's learn about nature of roots now. We said that for ax square plus bx plus c equal to 0, the quadratic formula defines the roots as x equal to minus b plus or minus square root of b square minus 4ac divided by 2a, right? So you can write roots as x equal to minus b plus square root of b square minus 4ac divided by 2a, and another root as minus b minus square root of b square minus 4ac divided by 2a, right? If b square minus 4ac is greater than 0, then we get two distinct real roots. Please take a note of this. And the graphical representation of quadratic equation looks as one of the following. The curve corresponding to the quadratic equation cuts through x-axis at two distinct points. Those two distinct points are called roots, right? So you remember that when b square minus 4ac is greater than 0, we get two distinct real roots or real numbers as roots for the given equation. Let's consider another case. If b square minus 4ac equal to 0, then the roots can be written as minus b divided by 2a and minus b divided by 2a, right? It means the roots are still real, but they are equal. Please take a note of this. And the graphical representation looks like this. As you observe, the curve touches the x-axis at only one point. That point is called root, or repeating root, or equal roots. So the point we have to note here is when b square minus 4ac, which is called discriminant of the quadratic equation, is equal to 0, then the roots are real, but they are equal. Let's take another case. If b square minus 4ac is less than 0, then what happens is you will get a negative number under the root, right? It means x is not going to be a real number anymore. It becomes a imaginary number or the complex number. That you will be learning in your plus 2. So for this kind of scenario, the graph looks like one of the following. As you see here, none of the curves are touching the x-axis, right? Hence, you have no real roots. The roots are going to be imaginary roots. So one thing we have to note here is that b square minus 4ac is defining the nature of roots. That's why it is called discriminant. If it is greater than 0, then the two distinct roots are available and they are real. If it is equal to 0, the real roots exist for the quadratic equation, but they are equal. If b square minus 4ac, which is called discriminant, if it is less than 0, then you have no real roots for the given quadratic equation. With that in mind, let's solve few problems. Find nature of roots of 2x square minus 4x plus 3 equal to 0. If the real roots exist, then find them. Let's compare 2x square minus 4x plus 3 equal to 0 with ax square plus bx plus c equal to 0, so that you can say a equal to 2, b equal to minus 4 and c equal to 3, right? We said that b square minus 4ac, which is called discriminant of the quadratic equation, that defines the nature of roots. Let's now find value of b square minus 4ac. When you substitute ABC values into this equation and simplify, you get b square minus 4ac as minus 8, right? It means b square minus 4ac is less than 0. In such a scenario, we said that roots are not real numbers, they are imaginary numbers, right? Hence, we can say that real roots do not exist for 2x square minus 4x plus 3 equal to 0. This is the answer we are looking for. Let's take a look at another problem. Is it possible to design a rectangular play area whose length is twice its breadth and area is 800 square meters? If so, find length and breadth. The play area looks like the one shown in the figure. Width is x and length is 2x and area is 800 square meters. We know that area of rectangle can be written as length times width. It means 2x times x equal to 800. When you simplify it, you get 2x square minus 800 equal to 0 as the quadratic equation, right? Let's now compare this with ax square plus bx plus c equal to 0, such that you say a equal to 2, b equal to 0 and c equal to minus 800, right? Let's now substitute these values into the equation of discriminant, that is b square minus 4ac, and find its value. When you do that, you get b square minus 4ac equal to 6400, right? It means b square minus 4ac is greater than 0. Hence, we can say that the roots are real numbers and they are distinct real roots, right? So we can answer the first part of the question saying that yes, it is possible, since real numbers exist for as roots for this particular equation. We can say that yes, it is possible to design a rectangular play area with given specifications, right? Now let's find roots of this particular equation so that we know length and breadth of the play area. Let's compare, let's find roots using quadratic formula. That is x equal to minus b plus or minus square root of b square minus 4ac divided by 2a, right? And we know a equal to 2, b equal to 0 and c equal to minus 800, right? Let's substitute them into this equation and simplify it such that you get x equal to plus or minus 80 divided by 4. It means x equal to plus or minus 20, right? So the roots of the given equation 2x square minus 800 equal to 0 are 20 and minus 20, right? The width of the play area x cannot be a negative number, right? That's why we choose x equal to 20. That is width or breadth of the play area, and length of the play area is 40 meters, right? Please take a note of this. I hope you like the video. Please give it a like and share it with your friends. Please subscribe to our channel for regular updates. Thank you.